A girl in a bright red dress pulls up to a dirty garage in a fancy red Mustang. Her name is In-hae. Her legs are covered in bruises, and she is carrying a heavy sledgehammer. She approaches the mechanic, asks his name, and without batting an eye, smashes his head with a single blow. But to understand where this fragile girl got such cruelty, we need to go back in time a little. In-hae has just been released from prison. All she wants is to start a new life and take care of her younger sister, In-hae. In-hae is developmentally delayed, naive as a child, and completely defenseless against the outside world. Her older sister gives her a beautiful hair clip, a symbol of their bond. But the world outside their home is cruel. In-hae hates school, and for good reason. As soon as the bell rings, she is surrounded by 3 classmates. They're not friends, but real predators. They bully the girl, throw things at her, and force her to go with them. In-hae is trying to find a job, but with her prison record, normal jobs are off limits, despite her awesome hand-to-hand combat skills. The schoolgirls use In-hae in their dirty money-making scheme. They bring the naive girl to a room, put her with adult men, and then burst in with cameras, accusing the clients of pedophilia and demanding money. On that fateful evening, In-hae cannot reach her sister by phone. She senses something is wrong and begins to search for her. Meanwhile, the schoolgirls make a mistake. They try to extort money not from an ordinary family man, but from a real gangster. He is not intimidated by blackmail, but brutally beats the young criminals and takes In-hae with him as a trophy. The next day, In-hae comes to school. One of the gang members feels ashamed or scared and shows a video of In-hae being bullied. Seeing this, In-hae goes wild. She finds the schoolgirls and gives them a short but effective lesson in physical education. The frightened teenagers immediately turn in their male accomplices. In-hae follows the chain of events. She finds the boys, beats the sense out of them, and gets the business card of the very gangster who took her sister. Realizing that the police will act too slowly, demanding endless paperwork, In-hae decides to take matters into her own hands. She arms herself with a stun gun, takes a car from one of the debtors, and turns into an unstoppable machine of revenge. It turns out that the gangster Sandman has already sold the girl to a brothel owner. In-hae tracks down Sandman in a parking lot. She rams his car and then shocks him with her stun gun until he loses consciousness. When the gangster regains consciousness, he finds himself with a noose around his neck. In-hae forces him to drive to the place of the deal, but he tries to resist. A brutal fight breaks out right in the moving car, and then in the wrecked car. In-hae breaks the criminal's arm and shoves him into the trunk. The next stop is a brothel. Here, In-hae doesn't waste time talking. She methodically knocks out the security guards and the manager, making her way to the owner of the establishment. He turns out to be a tough nut to crack, using ashtrays and scissors, but he stands no chance against the heroine's fighting skills. Before he dies, and In-hae breaks his neck, he manages to say that the girl called some store, and then a young guy picked her up. At the same time, we see what happens to In-hae. The young guy, Jung-woo, who picked her up, seems like a savior, but in reality, he works for the main villain, an influential politician. The scene on the bus is heartbreaking. In-hae manages to escape and begs the passengers for help, but they all turn away indifferently, allowing the kidnapper to take her back. In-hae continues to follow the trail. She arrives at the store where her sister called. A terrible truth emerges. The elderly shop owner also abused the defenseless girl in the past. In-hae, showing no mercy, tortures him with a door, cutting off his fingers to find out the name of the main customer. The chain of events leads her to a photographer, and then to the same mechanic from the beginning of the film. It turns out that all these men are connected. The mechanic supplied girls to Politica, and Politica has a score to settle with In-hae. A year and a half ago, he already tried to rape In-hae. Then, In-hae saved her sister by gouging out the bastard's eye with an ice pick. That's why she was in prison. Now, the one-eyed psychopath wants revenge by destroying both sisters. In-hae breaks into Politica's mansion, but he manages to escape after a shootout and a fight with the guards. The story's finale takes place at an abandoned construction site. Politica has gathered an entire army of mercenaries there. He kills his assistant Jung-woo by pouring concrete over him to show the seriousness of his intentions. In-hae arrives at the construction site. First, she runs over her enemies with her car. Then she shoots a whole magazine of her pistol, and when she runs out of bullets, she picks up whatever she can find. She is beaten with boards, cut with knives, and bleeds profusely, but continues to get up. This is no longer just a fight, but a mother's battle for her child. Only in the role of mother is the older sister. Fighting her way through the crowd, she reaches the office where the politician is hiding. He has a pipe in his hands. She has only rage and her fists. Despite being stabbed in the stomach, In-hae finds the strength within herself. She knocks the villain out and beats him to death with her bare hands, turning his face into a pulp. Final scene. Bloodied and barely alive, In-hae approaches the sofa where her sister lies. She hugs her and, as promised, takes her home. Justice has prevailed, but the price was horrific.